How are you doing?
Hi, Con. Good evening. How are you? I'm fine.
I'm doing well, thank you. So just like that, we are at the business end of another tournament.
Yeah, it's been a good tournament surprisingly, and even though it has only been 30 matches, the quality of the games have been really good, and the venues have, even though they've only used a couple of venues, it started as a good batting deck, both of these venues, and then it helped spinners. It has also helped pacers, so it's been a good tournament. This Women's Premier League.
Yeah, to have a kind of a starter for
Hmm.
WPL to have such quality of
Hmm.
games is quite impressive. And also teams like Delhi and
Hmm.
Bombay and now UP Warriors as well.
Hmm.
Very well balanced teams in terms of having a good batting attack at the front and then having variety of spinners. Right, we're going to talk in a little bit about the Mumbai
Hmm.
Indians IPL team, how they lack a leg spinner.
Hmm.
But if you look at the women's team, they have the depth. Each one of them have a quality left arm slow bowler. They have a Isi Wang or express pace bowlers. I was just reading that Ellis Perry actually hit 130, which is quite impressive.
Yeah, although I'm not sure if it was a fact or it's something that the numbers were made up or something, but 130 is something you don't usually hit in women's cricket, and there are dispute over those numbers too. So we're not yet sure. And speaking of the balance of the teams, I think in our season preview we had predicted women's Mumbai Indians and UP Warriors to make the top three, and they have made. But the one thing that have surprised us is as the Delhi Capitals, because they only have a specialist batter at number 7, and Jess Jonathan has days as an all-rounder has long passed. She's not being used in the top 7 for Australia. While at the Brisbane Heat, she plays a bigger role as a batter. This is a league that's a step above BBL, so it's surprising to see them doing well. But this is something that I've noticed of late. This is a pattern that I've noticed of late that's happening with teams that have a top heavy and a bottom heavy team. There, even though there is a hole in the middle, they seem to make up because of the superstar value at the top and at the bottom as well. That's what happened with this Delhi Capitals. They had Cap playing the superstar role as a bowler, and Jonathan doing the same too. That's the same thing happened with Mig Lanning and Shafali Verma. Even though they didn't have the a lot of value in the middle, the superstars made up for it.
Yeah. So let me just share my screen and
Hmm.
let's kind of go through the match sheet for the day. So before that, let's look at the Mumbai Indians team sheet. That started going out for covers of subscribers. How
Hmm.
exciting is that?
Yeah. I mean, there has been a demand for to release all of the 10 packs because there are plenty of our subscribers who are playing auction and draft fantasy. Even we'll be part of something big in a couple of days. So that's this is something we attempt to correct next time. We'll have all of the team packs out at least 1 week before the start of every tournament.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if I'm gonna go off video just in case that there is some bandwidth issue at my end. Am I coming out okay
Yeah,
now?
the voice is better. Yeah.
Okay, so I just cut out video. Sorry, Al, you were saying about how these packs have been going out because a lot of our subscribers have been playing draft and auction fantasy.
Hmm. Yeah, the thing is, so there is only one platform that caters to all of these needs of the fantasy gamers, and that's currently only what we are doing at covers of. So, which is why there has been a lot of demand for these packs, because we don't just analyze teams; we also give out direct fantasy ranking orders, and we also analyze teams from a fantasy perspective, which helps them in building their teams. So that's why I believe that there's been such a good reception for these team packs.
Yeah, and we want to talk about the premium subscription of covers off in a bit. How the offerings are going to go beyond Dream 11 type fantasy into so many other exciting fantasy platforms that's been
Mm.
coming out.
Yeah.
Very excitingly, Ashnish Grover, he launched CritPay yesterday.
Mm.
There's going to be no end of that type and variety of fantasy platforms that are going to be available.
Yeah. I think I didn't hear some of what you said because the voice broke, but I think I get what you mean. The that's what Kausam is attempting to do as well. It's going to be a 24/7, 365 platform that shows its subscribers all the different ways of making money through fantasy gaming. Right now, the focus is skewed towards 11-member fantasy, but there are plenty of opportunities other than that, and that's what we are going to do with our premium plan to show our subscribers all those different ways by which they can make money, and most of those even a lot less volatile than the 11-member fantasy. You do not need to go through the pressure of playing every game every day and depending on it and go through the highs and lows. These are all more stable modes of fantasy gaming, and that's what we are going to try and cover with this premium plan that we have.
Yeah, so that's what I was saying, right? The variety of fantasy platforms that are available, like Ashnish Grover, he's launched TrickPay yesterday. That seems to be an exciting development. It's a third unicorn. But we have FanX, right? Fantasy. We're going to resume with FanX again for IPL. So there are a lot of formats, not just this 11-player format,
I
but
think
for a casual player, to expand the market, there are a lot of new exciting platforms that's been coming out. So looking at the Mumbai team sheet, one needs to immediately talk about Sky. So what do you think is ailing his batting form?
Yeah, again, I think that kind of happened. I don't really believe that he has to do a lot to adjust to 50 overs cricket. There is not a lot of difference after all between 20 overs cricket and 50 overs cricket. And he is a player who has played a lot of domestic cricket. It's not that he's just burst out playing to T20 cricket. He's played a lot of list A cricket. He's played a lot of first class cricket. So I think it's just a phase that he's going through, and I think it happens to any player. I think if we give him time if we give him time, if we give him a set of 20 to 30 matches in a fixed role to do a stable role, I think he'll be able to deliver what India is expecting of him.
Yeah, I think he been held back, in the last game in Chennai.
Mm.
Probably was playing in his mind as well, because when he was in the dugout, he looked very restless.
Mm.
But probably that long wait more than the kind of a straight shooter.
I think the voice is again breaking.
Oh, my voice is breaking.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, is it coming out okay now?
Yeah, it's slightly better. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll try to talk less and have you discuss more. So, kind of going into it. So Sky's form is a challenge. So is Ishan Kishan's form, right? So the opportunities he's got to play for
Mm.
India, he's really not. After the double century he
Mm.
scored, after that he's really not clicked much.
Yeah, if you look at the last 10 innings, these two players have played are Ishan Kishan and Surya Kumar Yadav. They have had only 130 plus score, and that says a lot. You don't normally see players of that quality going through such a patch. So, in a team that's already missing Jasprit Bumrah, in a team that's already going through a lot of changes, this is not something they can avoid, and this could spell doom for this team this tournament.
Yeah, so missing Jasprit Bumrah is a huge blow. In fact, today I was reading that, except for VVS
Hmm.
Lakshman, nobody else is allowed to speak to Jasprit Bumrah today. So, which was very nice.
Yeah, I mean, to have this kind of
So yeah, but
happens.
Rohit Sharma as well. So you think,
Yeah, this kind of happens
go ahead.
when players try and start playing all three formats. It is happening with Hazelwood as well. Hazelwood was one of the fittest bowlers around, but the moment his T20 career picked up, and then he struggled to stay on the field. This is something RCB will keep an eye out as well, because they'll need Hazelwood to be fit for the entire tournament. But that's something they struggled with in the recent past.
Yeah, and that brings the spotlight on Jofra
Mm,
Archer. Even though MICT had a mandate to use him
yeah.
sparingly, for the State
Mm,
20, he did end up playing more than three
yeah.
games. So having him, play through the entire
Mm.
tournament might have an impact on his prospects for Ashes.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, He's played 13 matches since his comeback and he has picked up 26 wickets. So it's like he's never gone off. He never went off to come back and hit his stride so quick. Says about the quality of the bowler in play, but how long he can play in this tournament and how well he's going to be managed. It's not just important for Mumbai Indians. England will also be keeping their fingers crossed because they'll need him for the next year.
Yeah, so they have an important Ashes tournament coming up.
The
But
one.
also, the form of Rohit Sharma is something to worry about. So, do you think he should continue to open given they have Cameron Green now? Maybe they should give him a shot up front and have Rohit Sharma, bat during with the middle and the lower order, so that they can post a good score.
Yeah, I do think that it's time for Rohit Sharma. I mean, Rohit Sharma has had he's been one of the worst batters in the IPL. That's something that happens with him when a team that gets into. I don't think he suits big tournaments. Tournament where you play 10 to 14 matches in short span. He works better when it's a short tournament. When it's a bilateral, when you get in and get out. That's when Rohit Sharma is at his best. This is a pattern that has been with him. That's a pattern that we have observed over him for the last with him over the last few years. And his numbers in the IPL indicated since 2017 he has the fourth worst batting average and the seventh worst strike rate among all those players who have faced 1,000 balls. So that says a lot about it. It's been a long time since he has performed in the IPL, so there is no point in him holding on to a spot as important as the opening. He could move himself down and have Cameron Green open with Ishan Kishan.
Yeah, and also they have the explosive power of Tim David, and they
Mm,
should play him at a proper spot,
mm.
so that they do not waste his potential.
Yep, Tim David has sort of developing a weakness against slow left arm orthodox, but he's still one of those big hitters, one of those pace power hitters. You can happily float up the order between over 7 and 16 because they're exceptional in hitting off spin and leg spin. So that's something you'd love to use and have someone at the other end who can counter slow left arm orthodox. So instead of looking at him as solely as a pace power hitter, which is one of the mistakes Mumbai did last year, they didn't give him a lot of deliveries to bat first. They didn't give him enough matches to play, and then when they got him in, they didn't give him enough balls to play. He only played 80 balls throughout the tournament. So this is something that they'll have to correct and look at him as a player who plays 200 balls in this tournament.
Yeah, and the prospect of Arshad Khan pretty much shuts the door on Arjun Tendulkar.
Yeah, it's something that's he's so good. The problem is that Arshad Khan has shown in his short career, in his short domestic career, is so good that he could even push Ramandeep Singh, who had his moments last year, out of the 11. So which and then if that's what it does to Ramandeep Singh, then Arjun Tendulkar stands no chance to play in the 11.
Yeah. And very interesting note on Tilak Verma on second season syndrome alert. So, do you think all the video analysts would be on him to expose? He seems to have a weakness, batting during the slog overs. His strike rate and the average seems to drop significantly. So that again puts the onus on Rohit Sharma to back these talents up in the top five,
Yeah.
and him taking in the mantle to bat at number six, and probably somebody like Jafra Archer could really bat well, but
Yeah.
batsmen like that have a kind of a steady partner at the other end.
Yeah, Tilak Verma is an exceptional player of spin bowling, and Mumbai Indians must make sure they tap into that as much as they can instead of wasting him down the order. So, as you said, Rohit Sharma could drop himself down and play at number six with Tim David at five and Jofra Archer at seven. So that gives them a good core again to attack pace bowling at the bottom. But they will also have enough match breaking options at the top. Tilak Verma is someone who can single-handedly change the course of any match. Given if you make him play a lot of spin bowling, that's something that can also happen with Cameron Green as well. If you allow him to take a lot of pace bowling at the top, then that could be a different story altogether.
But looks like the four import players slots have been taken. Not much for a talent like Deval Bruvis or Juan Johnson to do this IPL, unless they decide to rest a Jafra Archer for a game or two to bring in Juan Johnson. But that would make it two left armers with Arshad Khan being a certainty in the starting 11.
Yeah, I mean, it says a lot that they'll have to bench both Duval Brace and Tristan Stutz, two of their most hype buys last year. The hype that was generated around them, the potential that they had, and the exciting six-sitting abilities these two players had to have them not even with a standing chance of being in the first 11. To put them straight away on the bench says a lot about the mistakes they've made in the last couple of auctions. This is something that you don't usually associate with Mumbai Indians. They've been a confused team at the auction table in the last couple of years, and that's kind of showing in the squad when you have Brevis and Stubbs, when you're going to bench these two players for 14 games straight.
It's very surprising that you say that because they've done such a good job with the women's team. Maybe they have the same think tank for the men's team and also for the South Africa 20 series as well. But they don't seem to have got the mix right, unfortunately, for the season, even though we had a mini auction prior to the season.
Yeah, I think they seem to be looking at the future to future. They seem to have placed a lot of importance on the future. They seem to have gotten into this habit of creating a lot of projects. What I would refer to as buying Brevis, and none of these players are ready. Brevis, for example, has a visible weakness against raw pace, and Tristan Stubbs has had a couple of really mediocre seasons in T20 to have them part of this, and they should have had a core that's ready to play and build the future around that. But that's something they seem to have missed the last couple of years.
Yeah, talking about the weakness against raw pace, so does Rohit Sharma and Ishan Kishan as an input from the matchups. So another reason why they should open with Cameron Green because most IPL teams have that raw pace availability up front.
Yeah, I think the green indicates that they're exceptionally good against raw pace. So in this case, they are good options to have against raw pace. It's one of the positive aspects of Mumbai Indians. Even this season, they'll have enough
Okay,
options. They'll have as many as four options who are good against raw pace.
okay. So this is my color blindness playing tricks on me. So apologies.
No problem.
So yeah, going into the bowling, again we just spoke about how much it revolves around Jafra Archer. The only leg spin option they have with Piyush Chawla, but obviously he's aging and a big liability on the field, and there's not a big batting prospect in the lower order. So they're gonna have pretty much Jafra Archer play all the matches in the season for them, and all the other bowling has to revolve around him.
Yeah. Even this is something that happened with them last year as well. Jasprit Bumrah was the only world class option they had, and even Bumrah was struggling to make up for the lack of quality in the rest of the bowling unit. And we wouldn't be surprised to see that happening with Jofra Archer again. The only thing that could help them this year is Jason Behrendorff being fit and finding his touch is something that he hasn't shown that outside of Australia. But if he could show that in this IPL, if he could be as good as he can be against right-handers in the power play, then there is something that can change for them.
Yeah. But like it has happened with WPL, as the tournament progresses, the chances of pitch is becoming a bit slower,
Yeah,
and then the effectiveness of Jafra Archer. You just have all the slower balls and the tricks
yeah,
up his sleeve. But I guess that's an area of concern because of this one-dimensional attack that Mumbai Indians have with respect to pacers and not much of quality. Kumar Kartikeya is a slow left arm off spinner they have, but they don't have much depth in that department. Is what I see of the sheet that we have put out.
it is true. Yeah, we have seen with RCB in the Women's Premier League, they ticked a lot of boxes, but the only box they didn't tick is an experienced spinner in the 11, and that kind of derailed the entire tournament. They didn't have control in the middle overs at all, and this is a team that has more weakness, that has other weaknesses as well, unlike RCB who had only one, and that kind of exposed them big time. And this is something that's going to happen with them. The one option that they have and they can use on pitches like Chepak is the Mumbai veteran Shams Mulani. He says a quality option to have on decks like that. He has a good control, good pace through the air, and there's something we can activate on decks like that. He'd give Mumbai an easy quality 4 overs of left arm spin.
Yeah. So I mean, there's a lot more to take in, but we have short of time. We need to move on to today's game. But for our viewers, that's the depth at which a Mumbai Indians team sheet has been put out by Kaurzaf team. and Sunrisers Hyderabad, Rajasthan Royals, RCB, Chennai Super Kings are also out. So if you're not a subscriber and if you're in auction playing but you have a new product that's come out. Let's talk to us briefly about it. So you launched, there were 100 slots available. Looks like it's almost sold out already.
I think 85. The last I checked, 85 slots were taken. We have it's just beta launch. You could say that we have only have 100 slots open, and we'll be opening more slots as we go along. But as of now, only 100 slots is open. So the goal, the aim of what we are trying to do, what we are trying to achieve with this is this: when you think of scoring, you think of Rick Buzz. When you think of quality writing, you think of Rick Info. And when you think of streaming, you think of fan code. But when you think of a home for a fantasy gamer, which is one of the biggest industries in India right now, there is none. There is no one who offers any kind of the kind of quality content that you'd expect for a professional fantasy gamer to make use of it. That's the first step of that versus providing fantasy cricket content. And this is the start of the fantasy gaming universe that we are going to create a lot of fancy tools, and we are going to increase our coverage to 5 different platforms. It's going to be right now we are only directly catering to, all our packs can be used to apply on any platform. We are directly catering to only 11 member fantasy, and once this is out in the premium, we'll be directly catering to all of these different modes of fantasy that are there. Player trades is there, player auction, draft fantasy, player stocks, and everything. And 4 to 6 member fantasy. Those are something, and we have also been. This is something we did. We tried out in the creator app we are associated with a couple of months back. We had a separate channel for all of those fantasy apps, and we also had our creators answering questions directly. But since then, we have not been able to do that, and that's something that's going to make a comeback. We get a lot of requests on why don't you bring that back? But that costs us a lot, and that also it makes us invest in a lot of other resources. So that's why we have brought it under a premium plan for our subscribers again.
So we are talking FanX, Crick Battle, Crick Stocks, Crick Pay, and Radio and Exchange 22 and so on here.
Yeah. These are the kind of platforms that we are trying to cover. For example, FanX fixed the idea of 4 to 6 member fantasy, where you'll just need to select 4 to 6 players to win a game. And likewise, Crick Battle is something that where you can play auction and draft fantasy. And same way, the same way, player trades and player stocks are going to get a lot more popular than they are right now in the future. With there are a couple of platforms that are doing it at the moment. Exchange 22 is one, and Sixer is other, to have content curated to these platforms. The kind of depth that we're going into for Dream 11 right now will be done for these platforms now.
And you've already made a lot of money for covers of subscribers, including myself with the pre-match predictions. Now have in post, so I'm very excited about us briefly about it.
I think the success rate that we have had with our predictions, we have had close to 300 predictions so far, starting way back from last 100, to have close to 60 to 65% success rate on those predictions without the advantage of toss, without the advantage of playing 11, says a lot about the quality of the work we do. But we have always had, considering the success we have had with these pre-match predictions, and considering how good, how the way that we do our predictions, we have had a lot of requests to do post toss and in-play predictions. But this is something that needed that it wasn't easy at that point. Now we have time, we have the resources, and we have the kind of tournament that it needs. IPL is a big tournament. To execute it for a tournament like this, to give out predictions post toss, to use those informations, and to the kind of markets that are available, where you can really use all of these predictions and tap into them as much as the extent you should be going into these. And we find this as a perfect moment to launch in play and post toss predictions.
Have 80 slots taken, just less than 20 slots available. So when do you think of opening it up for subscribers, more over and beyond the 100 slots?
I think we'll right now the idea is to start at sometime around April, because we are going to test a lot of things in the first 15 days. We not want to bring in a lot of people and make it a chaos. Instead, make it a specialized offering for those who have come in, and it's also easier to execute for 100 members at the moment. And based on how the first 15 to 20 days goes, we'll decide when we are going to launch the next next 300 slots.
Sounds great. Let's talk about today's game. The last game Mumbai Indians played against UP Warriors, that didn't really go well for Mumbai Indians, and they're playing at the same stadium.
Yeah, this is the one difference that today it's going to be the night game. A night game suits Mumbai Indians much more than UP Warriors, who have a lot of spinners in their 11. That was the thing that worked for them in the day game that they played. There's no dew and the pitch was drier, so there was enough spin on offer for the UP Warriors to be all over Mumbai Indians batters. That's something that's not expected to happen today. We are not expecting it to happen today, and also the fact that DR Patil has consistently assisted new ball paces, and with Mumbai having Shiver Brent and AC Wong, it could be really good for them. On the other hand, UP Warriors do not have an established pace option, so that's going to play into the hands of Mumbai.
Yeah, so I think dew is going to be a factor. Haley Matthews did have issues with Eccleston in the last game. Even though she scored 35 and she got out to her caught behind, but both Astika Bhatia and Haley Matthews do like the ball to come onto the bat, and with the night conditions, and Dave Patel could really help their style of play.
Yeah, I think that's something that they'd be looking forward to. Haley Matthews. Haley Matthews has been through a lean patch of late. She started off the tournament really well. The first three matches she was striking at 150 and was averaging 78 runs per wicket. But since then it has come down. Its strike rate has come down. Her average has come down, even though she has continued to add value with the ball. Is something that she'd be looking forward to changing it today. But standing in her way will be Sophie Ecclestone, who has had an exceptional record against it. We have gone about this in depth in our articles today. If she escapes Sophie Ecclestone, there could be enough runs in play for the West Indian international.
So you have these four spinners. Three of them are in Mumbai, and Ecclestone she is the purple cap holder right now, I think, with 14 wickets. But Amelia Kerr and Ishak, Saika Ishak are not very far behind. They're about 13 wickets apiece.
Yeah.
Do you think Saika Ishak is going to have the level of success she's had in this tournament so far in tonight's game?
I think the one opportunity that always lies with UP Warriors is that bowlers who are bowling a lot in the first 10 overs can take wickets because they have these domestic batters at the top. They have Kiran Navgire at the top. They have Devika Vaidya at the top, and they have Shweta Sharawat at the top. These are either youngsters or Indian domestic players who haven't had a lot of success in this tournament. So if Saika Ishak is going to be bowling 3 overs in the first 10, she has a great chance to take a lot of wickets.
So the batting order for the last game of UP Warriors they lost to Delhi was a little different, but I guess that's because they wanted to hold Talia McGrath and not have her face the pace bowlers up front. So do you think, given Mumbai Indians have a good pace attack in AC Wong, they could do something similar today as well?
That was because I think they're qualified, and so they wanted to experiment with a few players. They rested a lot of three of their main players in the last game and wanted to give chances to someone like Shweta Sharawat, who was dropped after the first few games because of poor performance. She made a decent comeback. Some of her shots showed the quality that she showed in the Under 19 World Cup that was held before this tournament. And Simran Sheikh has played a lot of games this year, but hasn't shown a lot of promise. So they promoted her at the top to see if she could change, but it didn't change for them. Again, today they have been really constant with McGrath's batting position. They have not floated around it. So if Mumbai take a couple of early wickets, McGrath would still come out at number 4. But they'll be hoping Mumbai don't take a couple of early wickets because that would expose McGrath to AC Wong and Nat Shiver, and these two players stand a great chance to pick up a wicket.
Shweta Sharawat, she looked really good. Some of the shots she played was amazing. Just that once Radha Yadav came in, she just couldn't resist and went for the big one, and she holed out. Uh, but again, today, given that they're playing a night game
Mm.
at DY Patil,
Mm.
Shweta Sharavat, if they were to persist with her, I think she could score a good one.
Yeah, it's not going to be easy, I think, because Shiver has been in exceptional form, and the other end we have Isha coming in, and then they'll be followed by AC Wong. So even we expect even Alisa Healy to struggle today because the Australian international, she has had a lot of troubles in her career against new ball pace bowling, and Mumbai have a lot of quality options. So if there is a player who can turn this on Mumbai Indians, turn the double tables back on Mumbai Indians, it's Talia Mekra, and then following her will be Grace Harris's contributions will also be important today.
Yeah, Grace Harris hasn't done anything wrong with the bat. I was just reading a statistic that she's not scored less than 39 runs.
Hmm.
So having a, and she could be, both Talia McGrath and Grace Harris fantasy potential could be up, given the top order struggle with pace, and they could be coming into bat quite early on today.
That's true. Grace Harris, I mean, it's surprising how good she has been. A lot of her success in her career has come at the top of the order. She's an opener for Brisbane Heat, but over the years, I mean, considering you don't find a spot as an opener in the Australian cricket team, considering how good, how many quality openers that they have. She was pushed down the order, and how well she has taken to the slot, becoming. I mean, it wouldn't be far off to say that she's the best finisher at the moment in world cricket, and that's saying a lot. She has had it's a relatively young international career. She has played only 1 year at the role.
Yeah, like Grace Harris, I think when Disha Kasat of RCB, she's an opener,
Hmm.
uh, and but unfortunately, she was played way down the order, and
Hmm.
she could not have the kind of success Grace Harris had.
Hmm.
So it's very interesting to kind of think of that comparison. But looking at Mumbai Indians, the last three games they played was at DY Patil.
Hmm.
Where all the three games were the afternoon games, except maybe the RCB game.
No, I think so. Yeah, I'm not sure, but one of those was definitely an afternoon game.
The one was the UP was an afternoon game. It was a
Yeah,
double header.
yeah. Mm.
And there has been signs of their deck slowing down
Mm.
compared to the first few games.
Mm.
The average score has been around 125,
Mm.
but we expect that to change given that's a night game, and maybe they saved a deck for the eliminator.
Yeah, that's something that usually happens. Curators usually have the best decks for the knockouts, and DY Paddle is not a venue where you usually expect tired decks. So maybe they use some of those decks for the last few games, but I think it should be back to the good one today. And if assistance, if any, for the bowlers will be found in the first 6 overs for the pace bowlers, and then it should get easy to bat.
Yeah. So let's quickly look at the matchups. Like you were saying, a lot of trouble for the UP Warriors team against quality pace, and you have Stewart and Wong
Mm.
doing an exceptional job. This WPL season.
Mm.
That's going to be a contest to watch out for.
Yeah, it will be. I think this is what we talked about. Talia Mekad, if she comes in when the new ball is moving, she's in a lot of trouble. And Ali Sahili has historically struggled against new ball pace bowlers. So to have Mumbai stand a great chance to break the game early today.
Yeah, so just looking at the fantasy home. So Wong is a good company with Sky. She's kind of scored 4 ducks in this tournament so far, but she's also come good. I think in the previous game she scored 30 odd runs in about 17, 18 balls.
Mm.
So do you think she could be a good differential, vice captain option in today's game?
Wong is a player that not many will have in their base teams today, but we have her because this is a deck that supports space bowling, and she also bats at number 7. And there are a couple of games in the last 3 or 2 games where he has contributed significantly with the bat. So even an average day could see her returning 40 to 50 points, and it's huge to miss out on, especially when she's playing for a strong team. To captain or vice captain her, that's a bold decision. That's something that I'd perhaps try in a grand league scenario, but not in a small or even medium-sized leagues.
Yeah, and a lot of all-rounders, like you put out in the creator notes.
Mm.
Pick a lot of all-rounders, batters from the Mumbai Indians team. and pace bowlers. So that should be the base composition for a fantasy 11 team.
Yeah, we are going that way because UP Warriors do not have the kind of pace bowling that they should have to make use of this wicket at DY Patil. So Mumbai batters stand a better chance to deliver today.
Yeah. So that's the base eight, and then the next two players to get that the last three players
Yeah,
to complete your playing 11 on a fantasy platforms like Dream 11. So go ahead, you can just subscribe now, and then right after the toss, you could get the last three players coming to your subscription, and we could have a winning playing 11 today. So that's pretty much the end of today's show. I think we did cover a lot of ground, and thanks for your time,
no
Al.
problem at all.
Forward to again connecting, hopefully for the finals day after tomorrow.
Yeah, that will be a great occasion. Thank you.
All right, you take care.
Yeah,
Bye.
bye.